Good morning. We're going to start again due to audio difficulty. Good morning to this regularly scheduled meeting of the Elmwood East Kelowna, the East Kelowna Transcona Community Committee on this Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. I'm this year's Chair of the Community Committee, Jason Schreier, Councillor for the Elmwood East Kelowna Ward. We have with us as well Councillor Buwadi of the North Kelowna Ward and Russ Wyatt, Councillor for the Transcona Ward. And I'd like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. And our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. And Clerk Brendan Harris, do we have quorum?
We do have quorum.
And what do we need to do at this point?
At this time, we can return to delegations. We had started with Carolina Herrera Garza before we had to take a brief recess for audio issues.
We need to have on the permanent record moving both the minutes of the last meeting as well as the resident.
I do have the movers and the fact that it's carried. If you'd like to redo it again, though, we can certainly.
Yeah, I'll move that the minutes of the September or the October, whatever the last meeting was, be confirmed.
Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And Councillor White, you had a question?
No, I don't have a question. I'd like to add to the agenda new item number 13, Governance Committee appointment.
Sure. If I can hold on a moment, we also have the Residents Advisory Group. Would you like
Did
to?
that already.
Did we do it now? We have to restart again.
Sure, I'll move the receives information.
Fair enough. Those in favor? Motion carries. Councillor Wyatt?
So I'd like to add actually two items. Item 13, Governance Committee
Should
appointment.
be number 14. There's already an agenda.
Was there a 14? What's the
Yes.
14?
13 is this member.
Oh, yes. Okay,
okay,
okay, I got it. 14, Governance Committee appointment. 15, lit pedestrian corridor on Devonshire Drive West at Donville Drive.
Are you naming your own motion?
Donville Drive. I'd like to add that to
Are you
the
naming your own,
agenda as item number 50.
are you naming your own motion, Councillor Wyatt?
I did.
You can do that here.
Yes, that's right. You'll be on governance. You can see that one through.
Well, not all Councillor Wyatt, but nonetheless. Okay, fair enough. Those items are understood by the clerk.
Correct.
Fair enough. All right, we are back at delegations. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, and take it away, please.
Okay, so this time you can return to your presentation.
Good morning. My name is Carolina Herrera, and I'm a planner with Landmark Planning and Design. I'm here with my colleague Brendan Salico. I would like to thank the clerk, the administration, and the committee for giving us the opportunity to present this morning about our 1131 Nairn Avenue plan approval application.
Excuse me, we've got a question.
Do you have a written presentation? Do you have a written presentation, a copy?
Yes, well, yeah, we submitted the presentation yesterday.
I think we understand what you're doing. Can we get the hard copy and look at it and we can go right to the plan approval? I mean, I suspend the rules. The key to the detail, Mr. Chairman, is the stuff that the planner has.
We do appreciate the review. Happens to be that, well, we didn't have audio. We did receive that.
Well, it's not mine.
Councillor Wyatt, Councillor Buwadi.
He needs.
I do recall, I'm not sure if we reviewed
Right.
that necessarily. We do appreciate it. I mean,
Yeah, we kind of know what you're doing. We just want to see the details on the landscaping. And
so what else is transpired before the last meeting is fine with us. And
You have a busy day, so do we.
yeah, fair enough. And that's okay with me. And thank you very much for your presentation and your review. And I guess,
I'll move suspension of the rules so we can deal with item 10 now.
all right, fair enough. Those in favor to suspend the rules,
Aye.
motion carries. In fact, either it carries and it's suspended or not, because 2/3 is. Oh, we passed. All right.
Do you have the drawings, Councillor Schreiber? You gotta, maybe there, you stay where you are, because then Councillor Schreiber can ask you questions a little bit if you have. You'll ask the planners, but. I have a question, Councilor Schreier. Go ahead. So is your building gonna be concrete construction?
Yeah. So this is the one that.
First couple levels will
That's,
be.
that's what we're doing.
I don't understand that. You're either concrete construction or you're not concrete construction. Who are we speaking with
So
here?
we'll bring
Did you come up and introduce yourself? Are you the architect?
No, I'm.
You're the builder. Okay, even better.
So just a note, if we do want to speak in delegation, just because you haven't pre-registered, we would need.
I'll move suspension of rules, allow the gentleman to speak.
And sorry, what was your name?
Jeff Nelson.
Jeff Needs, thank you.
Pull up a chair.
Those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And which company are you with?
Progressive.
Oh, yes, okay. Okay. So are you building concrete construction?
So, sorry, so. Can we show the navigation?
This is that.
Yeah, alright, so, can I point? It's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Alright, so, off the lane, entering ungrade parking. This portion of the parking garage actually is sloping downward. So this part of the building has to be concrete because it's parking.
The lower level.
Well, it's sort of, it starts at grade and comes down to a lower level, and this is actual level.
Okay.
So you've got concrete, sort of upgrade, below grade, and then half grade and below. So it's kind of 1.5 stories of concrete, and so the parking garage is fully concrete, the top of the parking garage is concrete, and then the wood begins above that.
So the answer to my question is you're building a wood frame constructed.
On top of a concrete parking garage.
You're building a wood frame constructed building. You're having a concrete parking garage, everybody has, you're not gonna build that in a wood frame.
No.
Okay. So it's a wood frame construction, okay. You're gonna issue ropes to anybody on the 4th and 5th floor in case of a fire.
Well, hopefully not, but there is.
So the only time, I know they changed the building code to allow you guys to do this many years ago, over 4 floors, and I think it was ridiculous, but anyway.
What was that, Councilor Wyatt?
The building code was changed to allow for non-concrete construction, 4 floors or more. Or it was, yeah, and the only time your sprinkler system is tested is when there's a fire. We think about it.
And the
30, 40 years when it gets tested, good luck.
the passive egress for the building code allow for up to 2 hours for people to leave the building in case of a fire. So hopefully it doesn't take people 2 hours to leave.
Yeah, all right.
So who owns your company? Councilor Wyatt, you did make that comment, and I'm going to say that was changed sometime in exactly the last 48 months.
No, it's been changed much longer than that. It's
It's longer.
yeah, and the industry lobbied the provincial government agreed, and next thing you know, it was me.
I'm not actually sure it's fully adopted in Manitoba yet. It's still a national building code piece that you can get on an exception basis here. I think Manitoba's quite caught up, but it is a lot.
So it's
Yeah, until there's a fire,
It's not
we're
part of the provincial code.
I'm not sure if the provincial code is caught up quite yet, but it is a lot.
Why can't you build concrete? The whole thing.
Concrete
Yeah,
costs mainly, that's why,
you amortize your cost, your who's owning this building? Who owns it?
why would,
You're the owner?
yes.
So what your return on investment instead of being 9, 10 or 12 years might be 15 or 16.
Yeah.
And you're building it now for your children and not having to worry.
Yeah.
When they look down the road, just a suggestion.
I know, wood frame construction is also what we're really doing. Or really done, so it's good to stay in your lane and do what you know, right?
It's also good to push yourself to areas that you've never been before.
Maybe on the next one, Council.
Fair enough. Well, all right. Thank you. I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead. I didn't
I'll
interrupt.
just put on the record that Mr. Villains has done a substantial redevelopment on Edison Avenue, and the property's very well fit into the neighborhood and been accepted by the neighborhood.
Good. Well, this is exciting to see this on Narren Avenue.
Yep, he's carrying on.
And say, you want to say,
No, don't worry. I do this to my best friends in the building industry. I push them on it because I'm not, it's a concern of mine down the road. Anyway. do you have any changes, Councilor Schreier, or do you want me
Any
to?
changes to the plans as I see?
Yeah, we're dealing with the item now, so you want me to take?
The concern that arose, to my perspective was the immediate westerly height at the west side. We discussed removing one suite, if you will, or one level at the west edge for the.
Do you mind just putting it out here, these ones have to get it, the record.
Excuse me, I don't have to touch this at all, I can reverse my.
But if you wanna refer it back to make changes, you can absolutely do that, just these will get.
We're sure landscape plan. Is there a color one?
That looks like landscape.
Counselor, may I have color copies if you want?
No, do you have a site plan that's colored?
Here we go.
Yeah, it's in the presentation.
Typically, we caucus to look at these things, that's why I'm up here. So. What kind of, the quality of your path, what is that gonna be? What is this path over here on the west side or east side?
In the dog park,
No, a dog park.
or dog run, I should say.
Yes, or the dog
Is
run.
that what that is?
Yes,
My dog was.
we have a
Okay.
detail
We
here.
could do the presentation.
No. Oh, it's concrete, but where's the dog?
It's between the building and
Yes.
and Chateau Lanes. It was sort
Up
of,
here on the
The
screen.
east side,
it was kind of a dead space, which wanted to do something with, make it nicer. It's otherwise just a 16-foot breezeway, that kind of thing. Maybe Chateau Lanes will allow us to put a bigger one there or something nice.
Yeah, but that's not against Shadow Lane, like you're basically got a wall here and a wall here.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't really. There wasn't an obligation to do anything in that space, so we wanted to dress something nicer, that's why we came back with that idea.
Who's gonna access this space?
The tenants, it's a private space.
Yeah, but anybody, is it gonna be locked?
Yeah, there's fencing in the front and back, and then there's two accesses from the inside.
And it's coded?
Coded house.
Like, is it, like you need a key fob to get in?
Yes, yeah,
Okay, that's important, because otherwise you're gonna have.
oh yeah, we don't want
It's pretty.
people hanging out in there, no, it'll go fully fogged, yeah.
You want me to take the chair, Councilor Schreier?
In a moment, sure, Councilor White, just want to comment. We are looking.
What is the height of the fence gonna be there?
on this side, 6 feet, and the other side, we have an ornamental fence of 3 feet.
No, for the dog run area.
Oh, 6,
6.
6 feet.
And is that, what kind of fencing?
Other, whether I was thinking like wrought iron or something.
Yes.
Is it gonna be wood at either end as well? Like where the key fob is, like how are you gonna gate it and what's it gonna look like at either end? Like the open end, the bottom and the top, so.
That's certainly the case,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
sides.
can put gate hardware on a wood fence, like you just have to have the electric strike. Electric strike in any type of fence.
My suggestion, Councilor Schreier, is not to make it wood, but to make it heavy duty chain link. And open to be able to see in,
Sure.
because otherwise you're gonna have people can still climb the fence.
Yeah.
If it's wood or whatever, and if you can see in at either end, that improves, and I would not shade it with any landscaping at either end. So that you can clearly see it from Narren Avenue and you can clearly see through to from the lane, otherwise you're gonna have a hangout there where who knows what goes on right at night.
We'll also have building.
You'll have what?
Building lighting, so
And will you have cameras?
like wall packs and cameras.
And are you gonna be advertising those cameras?
Advertising cameras.
Yeah, letting them know you're on, smile, you're on
Yeah,
camera.
sure, yeah.
So maybe add that to the plan approval.
Just to point out, though, there are trees
Yeah.
between Nairn Avenue and the run. That's to block it at the moment.
Yeah, you wanna get rid of those,
Think so?
unless, are those deciduous or coniferous? Those are. Double
I
check
don't need
it.
to see the table that we submitted
Lot
with the
trees,
proposal.
And I don't want to lose all those.
Councilor Schreier, if I may,
Go ahead.
I would suggest that you eliminate the landscaping on that side, you extend the fencing towards the front of, in line with the front facade of the building. And so that people can see clearly in there, otherwise you're gonna have problems.
We do want to make sure too that we're not triggering any new variances with removable landscaping.
You won't trigger a variance, but as long as it's not above
Concern
6
is that
feet.
Variance by virtue of eliminating, did you say eliminate the fencing?
No, I'm saying, okay, see, Councilor Bawadi pointed out, you see at the bottom there where you got 4 trees? Elim-
Near, yeah, near the.
Okay, eliminate those trees because they're not gonna be able to see.
And
Because when the trees are older, you'll be able to see them, but when they're young and shorter, they'll leaf out and you won't be able to see into that compound. And if you can't see into that compound, and the same thing goes on the north side, I'd eliminate those 2 trees and maybe put them somewhere else on the property. And just simply ensure that you have a heavy duty chain link gate or fence, gate and fence on the north side and the south side in line with the front of the building. You could extend the dog run that way. Maybe I would include a sitting area in there too, because people are running the dogs, they're gonna wanna sit.
all right, but
Yeah.
if you look at the
Will
change.
you do that or? Okay,
Yeah,
very
there's a couple benches in there.
Can you go back to just the last slide?
well, mind you, it's gonna be blocked.
There's a jut out there that's not expressed in the next slide that you just showed us. The building juts out to the east, it's not shown in the next slide. If you could show the next slide, and it's not there.
Oh, yeah, I think that was just a line that we forgot to remove from the previous presentation because it had it in the previous one, but it's not there anymore. Like,
So it is not there, so it is.
no, it was an overlay.
I'm sorry?
It was just an overlay on top of the drawing.
Wanted a thicker line to kind of show the outline.
Yeah, this is
So it
the,
looks more like that then?
yes. this is-
Okay, so you could extend then possibly the dog run the path because it's just as wide. So if we eliminated the trees, you could extend the dog run?
Not only that, it gives a second access in and out to the outside. You can include a gate on the south side now. And that is good for safety. For anybody in there who has to get out the other way to open place versus the building. And extend your pathway south right to the front of your property line. You follow me, Councilor Schreier?
Can you say that again, sorry, Councilor?
So if you eliminate those trees and you extend the dog run, you can extend the pathway south to the front of the property line. You follow me? And then you put a gate, chain link fence at the lower end as well.
What do you mean?
Operated by a key fob. Operated by the key fob by the residents living there.
What is lower and mean? You mean the south?
The south end, yeah.
Which is gonna be on the right in this case?
Yeah.
Okay, which is the right in this case? All right?
And then the other issue that if I may, Councilor Schreier, the other issue I see is you've got the garbage enclosure, which I imagine will be fenced, correct?
Yeah.
So the garbage enclosure is gonna de facto hide the northern end. Is there any way you could flip the garbage enclosure over to the other side where you have those parking stalls and move those parking stalls to that side?
I think that the garbage trucks come from that direction. That's why-
They could come from any direction.
Wow, okay. I thought there's a specific place.
We did work pretty closely with Water and Waste on location and layout and angle, turning radius for the trucks. On this specific.
Garbage. Are you talking-
I'd be concerned about that, Councilor White. I'm not sure how to address that in this meeting.
Well, we can lay it over and get the information from Water and Waste, but I wouldn't put that enclosure there, Councilor Schreier, because you're creating that kind of block. You're creating that shadowing effect of what we're trying to achieve with the chain link gates, having it open, so you can see it right through to the lane, you can see clearly down. Because otherwise, you're gonna have issues in there, Councilor Schreier, or those residents will.
You're talking, can you point again, you're talking about the northeast corner right there, which is in the,
Yeah, there.
in the, top
Move
of
that from here to there, and move these parking stalls from here to there.
There's respectfully, there's
Flip it
a
around.
couple issues because there's a hydro pole in the location there, and then there was another. There's a couple challenges with moving
You
it.
can move a hydrant.
You'd also lose more than 2 parking spots. Probably lose 4.
Well, you might even, no, I think you would gain parking stalls actually. Cause you have more space on that side.
You need to have access to the pathway there, just block it off. You can also have it just from the front, and come into the building. You don't have to have outside access there. Just put that-
Well, no,
Let me just, you know, I mean.
no, I'm not,
Continue.
but you're missing the point, sir.
Okay,
The fact is that will exist, right?
yes.
So even if you don't have access there, they can still get in there. My point is you have to be able to see through from either end. Otherwise, you're gonna have a big tunnel there.
All right, but what if they
So-
use the chain link
Just
on the east side?
your original plan was not to have any access, like was it key fob or anything from?
Original plan actually didn't have started.
Okay, but when you brought us the dog run, the access would need to be from the building, so like you come in, like you enter the dog run from the building, not from either end of the run. So Russ, the thinking is, Councilor White, the thinking is completely block off that whole space. Whether it's, originally with the wood fence, 6 feet is a little bit challenging to scale, the idea is you would enter it only by coming from the building.
I hear you.
Okay.
I just, reading today's Winnipeg Free Press, a church in the city has decided to put up a 8 foot or whatever chain link fence with barbed wire at the top. The city is changing, we have challenges. And those who are unfortunately struggling in this neighborhood, and there are some, you may get situations and issues in there that are gonna be hard to monitor and enforce.
I agree.
Yeah.
I hear your concern, I think that with the proper lighting, cameras, signage about the cameras, chain link at both ends where we can,
All right,
I think we're okay.
And
okay.
I almost think it's preferable not to have access from the outside, because if the fence gets jarred open by accident, whatever, if it's permanently walled up. Less chance of somebody getting in there by accident.
Try that with gates, but I think to your point, if it was just an exit only potentially, maybe that works. Okay.
Either way, sorry,
I would just, no, I agree.
I don't know, sorry,
I'm fine with that.
if anything, yeah,
And I would just recommend the signage for, push signage all around the building you are on camera.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so fine, we've got that agreement with cameras, that is understood. We're dealing with, here, we're dealing with the dog run at that, in the same, while we're dealing with the dog run, we're dealing with the fence. The fence to me is key. Do we agree therefore, we want to take the trees off to extend the dog run, Councilor Wyatt, is that your recommendation?
That was my suggestion.
For safety,
Correct,
because of being able to look through this.
correct.
Happens to be that this is something that I literally have to deal with. This is not the first time I have to deal with this. We'll deal with this where I walk around my neighborhood.
I would also-
This is not hypothetical, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I can see where Councilor Wyatt's coming from. but-
What if just throwing an idea out there, what potentially the gate is on the other side of the trees? Retain the trees, but it's within the boundary,
Sure.
right?
And I would also put up signage saying you are on private, this is private property.
Now, what
They
conclusion
might
have
think
we-
it's public realm. Because it's a dog, we're the ones that build dog parks and everything, so you just wanna make sure that it's public private property, which none of it is, especially this.
So what are we saying about the trees?
I would just use an option, you could just keep the landscaping as is, but just move the gate, the fence to the front. That way.
Where's the front?
Well, I mean, we have it currently situated here, we can move that there. Right, and in that way, it's still secure, but then you still get the benefit of having the landscape.
You can keep the trees is what he's suggesting, yeah.
If you move, what, go ahead and do it.
Well, the dogs need some. If you don't have a
There's
fire.
the risk if them the fence too far in that front yard, that it will trigger variance.
Excuse me?
There's the risk that if you put the fence too far into the front yard, that a 6 foot fence would trigger a variance in the front yard.
Just do it and don't tell us. Well, why not? People are doing it everywhere, the department doesn't enforce anything.
Very good.
Well, mind you, they do enforce if you put a happy face on trees. They enforce that in my work, can't do that.
That's right, you can't put a happy face on
No,
it.
no, not at all, planning department.
All right, so we've got a concern, now moving the gate over further to the south, which is further to the right. Concerns that could trigger a variance, why would that be?
Well, because there's a maximum fence height allowed in the front yard, and so if they bring it. I mean, the way it's shown, if they put it to the furthest south tree. It's likely that it's then gonna be considered the front yard. At which point you're limited to, I think it's 4 feet would be the.
It's not a side yard, not a front yard.
Well, currently it's in the side yard, but if you bring it far enough up to the street, then there's a front yard there. I don't know exactly where it's
If you leave it within the, to the north, to the left of that margin, it would be along the side. If you don't put it, what is that margin along the south? How many feet is that margin on? 16 feet, that's 16 feet. Okay, so.
Sorry, wide, not length, sorry, length.
No, the width from the building to Nairn, how wide is that?
Oh,
The width from.
sorry, the front there.
It's-
Think about this.
I mean, the front yard.
No, I'm assuming that's the building there. So the front yard to that part there, exactly,
This is the front
between the
yard.
building and Nairn, that
That's-
part of that.
That's 7 feet plus the sidewalk.
7 feet. So as long as the gate is not within the 7 feet, one would say the gate was in the side yard, that's along the side of the building.
Yeah.
So maybe those are
Yes.
amendments, so are those amendments you'd like to add to it, Councilor Shar?
Well, look, I mean,
I'll take the chair if you wish to move those amendments, but I'd like to see the rest of the site plan too.
Dylan Chisholm made his concern, expressed his concern over triggering a variance.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Why?
That's a good point.
So
We
we're
should,
trying to avoid this.
yeah, we'll leave we'll leave your fencing where it is. I think it's
Or we
good.
could move it within, not within 7 feet of the southern fence.
Sure,
If we put it there, it would not be in the front.
fair enough.
One other thing just to note, which I
Does
think
that work?
plays well with kind of our discussion here, is that the bowling alley is set back further than our building would be.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, a little bit, so I think that was
That's
part of
right.
the reason why the fence was where.
I see now, that makes sense. Okay, I would suggest you leave it then, Councilor Shire.
Leave the fence.
Right.
We were never
Good point.
talking about moving the fence. When were we talking about moving the fence?
Then the fence is in line with the facade, front facade of Chateau.
Yeah, closer.
Okay. That makes sense.
When did we discuss moving the fence? We were discussing moving the gate. Moving.
No, we were talking about the fence and the gate.
Sorry, I guess we should be clear, so it's a building and a building, so the only fence is across the front. Right,
Okay, and that would be 6 feet tall.
yes, and set back appropriately so it doesn't trigger a variance.
Right. When was this in question in the last 10 minutes?
Oh, there was just an idea from Council Wag to move this line here up here, that's all.
Can I make a suggestion, Councilor Shire?
Mm-hmm.
If I take the chair, you can then act and make amendments as we go along here. To make note to the planner.
Sure, I only have a couple more issues to deal with, and then you can take the chair, I'll make my motions. Another one is,
Could you pull up the whole site plan? If you don't mind, of the landscape plan? Is there a bigger one that you have, or? Okay, that's the one.
Yeah, so. We can see.
What is that, those shaded spots that you have there right here, what is it? That a walkway, well, that's a walkway, right?
Yes, it's better, yes.
I see. Why do you need a walkway there?
Required, is it more for accessibility?
Which one, Councilman?
Which one? This one?
You got a strange walkway running through the middle of your.
Oh, in the parking lot, yeah,
This one.
yeah, it's a walkway for accessibility to get.
Would it make more sense, like, is there a door there? The door here.
Yes.
So couldn't you move this walkway over here and extend it down along the landscaping and move all the parking over? That would make more sense.
I think the idea was just kind of having the walkway.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It's going nowhere. You're ending in a wall.
Or, well, there's actually a sidewalk on that side too. So it leads you down to the sidewalk, which you can take east to the.
Yeah, but if you're parking your car and you're gonna funnel toward that door, right?
Yeah.
All right, you want the walkway here, not there. Because these people are gonna go back and walk down. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, some of those might just walk directly to.
Well, they're all gonna walk through.
Might also into tie in the van loading area.
Yes.
That's your part of the street line. Well, you,
That is-
accessible advantage here, it's be tough with that over there, you can walk with.
No, no, it would be tough. It'd be easier for the people who need accessibility to have a walkway at the end of, like, if you look at it, the people, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 accessibility stalls, they're not walking back to that walkway. They're gonna walk down the middle of the driving.
Those ones, like these accessible spots will have direct access to the sidewalk. This is a sidewalk as well, so they'll have direct access and then to the entrance.
And your parking is, you don't have hammerheads at the end?
Uh,
Oh, sure. You got a one-way lane going in. You got 2 one-way lanes going in. And dead ending at the building. How do the cars turn around?
So like a car, say parked here.
No, but let's say a car isn't parked there. Let's say a car is trying to come into the site. They realize and they gotta turn around and they don't live in the area or what, like, typically you have a hammerhead to turn around and go back.
They'd be able to turn around in the truck.
Really? All right. I don't know.
That looks like it's going to be about 15 feet wide. Is that what 15 feet?
20 feet actually.
Why could you not create a drive, my suggestion, Council, it would be to move the walkway here and eliminate a couple of these parking stalls to allow a loop.
A couple, you'd have to lose more than a couple, you'd have to lose 4.
Yeah, one of the biggest concerns that we heard from residents was concern about spillover parking.
Yeah,
onto
but-
adjacent
Okay, I hear that, but at the same time, resident, you're not gonna want people coming in there and not being able to turn around.
It's true.
My suggestion would be to eliminate 4 stalls to allow a turnaround. Or compromise on the landscaping so you don't have to, I wouldn't do that. I would just, I would organize your parking stall to allow for a loop and move the walkway to the, against the landscaping.
I don't even know, quite frankly, how the issue of the exit and entrance.
Nothing more frustrating than driving into a parking facility and not being able to turn around or feeling frustrated that you're stuck. Not only that, it's a safety issue. Not only that, if there's a fire at the building, they got parking stalled there, and you wanna be able, the fire department wants to get in and get out. So I'm surprised that they approved this.
Are you suggesting then that the van loading area would stay here?
Correct,
Then just move that there.
correct.
And move those 4 stalls that comes around.
So it allows a loop, exactly, yeah.
I mean, as long as that's allowable, because it doesn't trigger any further parking issues. then-
I don't know, do you have any parking, what's the parking variance on this property?
We're not asking for a parking variance, so we met the required parking.
Yeah.
And,
So are you 1.5?
No, they would be, I think they're 1-to-1
Because
here.
it's mixed use on a corridor.
Yeah,
Oh, so then we have some
Just
room.
mixed.
So we eliminate 4 stalls, it doesn't trigger a variance?
well, 99 dwelling units,
What's the underground?
we have 113
Yes,
stalls.
we have 150.
Oh, you got a lot of stuff, 113?
It's
Plus-
a function of the
plus-
ratio.
Commercial area.
Yeah, but what's the flexibility on our variance in this area?
Well, I think they only need 99 plus the accessible stalls.
So total underground and surface is 113.
That's right.
Okay. And how many units?
99 and 3 commercial.
Okay.
So we'd be all right. Councillor White, thanks. I do feel queasy just looking at that diagram now. I'm not sure how this passed me by. Just in terms of, I don't recall seeing that before in terms of allowance for entrance, but I just don't see how.
Yeah, if you look at it, you got 2 ways in, but you don't have any way out. Like you should have and I would even create a 1-way system, but anyway. Because otherwise, what's the width of that drive aisle?
20 feet.
Yeah, that's pretty narrow. That's pretty narrow.
The other option, I guess, would be just to lose, the 2 spots in the end. And then make those wider.
I would go the 4 and make it a 1-way in and a 1-way out, or you could do that if you make it a 1-way drive aisle, right? But even that 10 feet is pretty tight.
Which
Some
one,
10 feet. Well, he's suggesting only lose 2 stalls instead of 4.
Yeah, we want those two, just made this wider and put the walkway is just suggested, then basically this car can pull in there, back out.
You could get away with a 15-foot drive aisle if you make it one way.
But then that just makes the spots actually longer.
Yeah. No, I would do it, but anyway, I don't know. If you have enough parking, that would be your variance.
Well, always need more parking, unfortunately, but. Would the 2 spots be acceptable rather than legally? Like
If you only have 6
Can you
spots.
explain what you're saying?
Well, I'm just saying, if we lost the 2, because I understand your concern, right? If this car comes parks in here, right, that's tough against
Yeah.
a curve, right? So you just lose those 2 spots, make this extra wide, put the walkway in at grade. right?
No, that doesn't address the concern of people being able to turn around and get out of here.
But this car can then use back into this space that we.
I'm not worried about that guy. I'm worried about somebody driving in there because they're doing a delivery or something and they're having a hell of a time turning around and then you're holding up other residents and. I'm worried also if you have a fire at the property, emergency vehicles coming in, they can't turn around. 20 feet, you can't turn around a damn fire truck, you gotta back out.
Can a fire truck make that radius, we lose 4 spots?
I'm okay with this. Honestly, it's not a bad amendment as long as it doesn't trigger variance for parking.
It's, I just have to pull up the drive aisle requirements in the zoning bylaw, but there are minimums. It might trigger variance.
It might or it won't.
I said it might trigger a variance. I have to pull up the zoning bylaw and have a look through it. And,
No, plan approval was delegated to the screening committee, wasn't it?
right, but if you're gonna refer. the
We
plan
won't
back-
call it a drive aisle.
I mean, they're gonna need their permits eventually. You're getting into area where they might get held up regardless of the committee's intention.
It also borrows and space on that city buffer, we need to make wider,
That's right.
that's allowed.
Good thinking.
What is that?
We have quite a wide buffer that's along station, we could.
You could eliminate the part of the landscaping council right in the middle there along the that dog leg of the building on the west side. And bring the sidewalk, loop the sidewalk in or tuck it in and then bring it back out. Yeah,
Therefore,
Just to make a wide enough drive lane that Dylan's.
or what
talking about.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chisholm is saying, yeah.
to make a wide enough drive lane where?
For that loop, that council water.
And we do this by taking out the sidewalk?
No, these buffer here,
Okay, we take out the buffer.
reduce it, yeah.
Reduce it, just making it less wide.
Reduce the buffer, and how does that allow for a car to drive a loop?
If you just shift everything that way, if you borrow some space there, then it would give us more room.
Room for the loop.
All right, so how wide are those parking spaces? They're 8.5.
8.5.
All right, and then how much is that buffer?
Right.
9. So 8.5.
Are they 8.5 underground too?
9 foot buffer.
Yeah.
You see,
I think so, except in corners, 10.
hard to see it because of the tree, so 9 foot buffer. All right, so that means instead of 2 8.5 foot lots, you could do, instead of doing 4, like 2 widths of 8.5 or wide parking lots, you could do 1 and the buffer instead. That's what we're saying. That's what we're looking at.
Just confirm what the width of the drive lane needs to be and then we can reverse
Yeah.
engineer it.
Yeah.
Find that idea in the loop, so it's a good one.
Great. So I have the chair, is Council Tribe moving these changes?
I haven't given the chair yet.
All right.
For us, I'm not. It allowed you to speak too, right? So,
I hear you.
there you go.
I hear you. I just want to get this thing moving.
No, I understand. You want to get it moving, but you are the one that brought these things to attention, so I thank you for that.
You have a one-way system going in and out with regards to your underground garage. Like, how is that traffic moving?
There's only one way to go, so.
No, what's this other, you got to cut the lane over here on Stapleton. What's that?
Oh, that's existing,
That's not part of our plan.
Are you removing that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that goes to the current 7-Eleven.
Okay, then it shouldn't show any dotted lines there.
there's also the only one.
You want to amend it, Councilor Strider, remove those dotted lines so you ensure that that's removed and the boulevard is restored. Are you obligated to plant any trees on that boulevard?
Nothing that
You
we're.
can also do that, Councilor Schreier.
Okay, say it again.
You could request a developer to put trees along the boulevard, not just on his property. We do it all the time when we approve some housing subdivisions.
Put the trees on the boulevard, you're talking
Just
about.
on the east side of Stapleton, put trees on that boulevard up and down.
We have, like on Stapleton, we're planting trees along the property line.
Are you? But
Yeah.
on your property, but not on the public boulevard.
That's right.
Would you agree to do that?
I would, except there's one concern that there's a fairly sizable hydro duct underground there.
Well, you'd have to work with hydro not to hit the line. eh? So,
I'm fine with it.
okay. That's good.
All
And are you doing so it's a one-way in to the parkade and a one-way out?
Yes, that's not atypical. You can
Okay.
have one way in and out of a parking garage.
All right, so is it understood by the clerk and by our planner that we would eliminate? Eliminate the buffer? On the west side of the parking lot, along the west gate between the two egresses, if you will?
What kind of, just another question, Councilor Schreier. What kind of fence are you gonna run between the parking stalls?
We would do like a parking fence, like with wood on either side.
So that line running down the middle there and where the walkway is on the east-west walkway, right? That's a raised walkway? These are all raised walkways? That's a raised walkway?
That's right, great.
All right, well, my suggestion, Councilor Schreier, is all the walkways should be raised. Because it doesn't make a point of having a walkway at the same grade for safety reasons.
I don't
with
think-
proper ramps.
I don't think we can have raised for where the van accessible stalls. I think that has to be.
No, that has to be down.
No, but we're moving the walkway over,
Okay, yeah,
right?
that's fine.
And the sidewalk on the south side should be raised. Along the north side of the building there.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely raised.
That's raised. What about the other walkway? Is that raised?
I believe that is also, yeah, because that just ties.
You think or you know?
No, it goes to the sidewalk, right, so it have to be the same elevation.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
The
Now
only
what,
one that was at grade was the hash mark one that was going through the parking lot. Which we could raise, we would go over there, so we just attach it.
so you don't have a fence then on either, if that sidewalk's raised, you don't have a fence on the walkway, do you, on either side?
I believe we do, I mean, typically we put a parking fence.
Where's your fence elevation?
That's zero.
I thought fence elevations have to be part of this. Yes, you are.
We have fence elevations for the, fences along the brick. Yeah.
And
No, we gotta see your fence elevations everywhere.
I think the option though for parking stalls is you can do the pedestals, you don't have to do parking fence. So I think that's an option.
Repeat that again.
Well, I think the other option for parking stalls is not to do a parking fence.
But you said there is a-
pedestals. That's typically what we would install, because that's what we do in all of our developments, but you
Okay.
can do those pedestals I'm talking about that have the plugs on either side. We
Yeah,
could
yeah.
also do those here. You don't have to do a fence.
I don't see that being an issue, Councilor Schreier, where the walkway is and it's raised because they can't drive any further. But it may, your pedestals are gonna get knocked if you don't have a fence system down the middle there. In the winter time or whatever, your snowplows are gonna hit them and everything.
What pedestals are you talking about?
Well, there's two ways to do parking plugs, right? You can either run like a wood fence with them attached to it, or you do a pedestal with the two plugs on either side.
Yeah,
So I think it's kind of our option to do that here, however it makes sense in the parking lot,
to do what?
to either do the pedestals or the fence.
And what does the fence have to do with Garland?
Well, the fence is what would be attached the parking plugs to.
Okay, but the pedestals are right beside the car, they jut out, right? They're not they're not by the building on the other side of the sidewalk, they're up near the car, right?
That's correct. They're usually
And
like,
how do you put a fence there? I don't understand how a fence can substitute a power pedestal.
it's an either or. It's not a,
Okay, but how do you, it's either or, but how do you substitute in, because it's either or, how do you replace it in terms of a plan? Where do you put a fence?
Councilor Schreier,
Yeah.
this should be a fence, because otherwise,
There,
Yeah,
Sure, that's,
This should be a fence, because otherwise they'll drive through the hit the pedestals, there's no, well, down here, you don't need a fence against the raised sidewalk, and up there against the raised sidewalk, because it's raised in there. Snow plows hopefully won't hit, well, maybe if they don't see the sidewalk,
okay, no,
snow,
excuse me.
you might wanna have it marked.
You can also
But,
manage it with curb stops as well. like
Yeah.
the, you know, the-
You could do that too, but we'd have to recommend that here, so.
All right, look, when we were talking about the pedestals, I was referring to how it applies to the cars parking southward towards the building. So there, that's not a question, we're not talking about replacing that with a fence, that obviously maintains the pedestals.
Correct.
All right,
And if the drive aisle is done correctly, there should be a raised buffer between, on the west side of it as well. Landscape.
say that again.
You're gonna have landscaping on one side or a walkway on one side, there should be a raised buffer, so people, so it's clearly designated as a drive aisle, not to be confused as a parking stall area.
Can you show me where that would be?
Did we confirm the width of the drive lane?
Yeah, it's an accessory off-street parking area must be provided with a parking driveway with a minimum width of 8 feet for one-way traffic and a minimum width of 16 feet for two-way traffic.
You're suggesting, right?
So a loop can be one direction,
Could be 8.
so it could be eight.
Yes, you can do that, and then you have enough room to create a so-called buffer, landscape with shrubs, and then everybody knows they can't park.
So no problem, we can definitely do that, eliminate those 4 stalls, make it a loop appropriately with, add your landscaping. Can we get approval to reduce this landscape buffer on the west side to give us a little bit more flexibility? Well, can we reduce this 9 feet down, to say like 5?
Yeah, but you're already at 8.5 feet for stalls.
No, I understand, but if we get this reduced, it gives us more room here to do the lane and landscaping as you're describing.
Yeah.
That's,
It's up to Council Schreier.
yeah, so if we can do that, then it just gives us more room to make that lane more functional, that's all.
By doing what? By taking
If you would be okay with us reducing this from 9 to say 5 feet,
what?
like this landscape buffer right here.
We were already talking about eliminating it.
Oh,
You're not eliminating
We're
it.
talking about.
I mean, not limited, just reduce it.
Yeah.
And that way, you can give us more room here to
Yeah.
remove these 4 stalls, create a proper loop and do the landscaping as Council White has suggested.
Yes.
So how wide is that buffer?
It's 9 right now,
Okay, so you would reduce it or eliminate it?
No, 5 feet.
just reduce it to 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we need 8 feet for the turnaround on the east side.
Oh, we need more, I would say we need more than 8 feet.
I agree. Okay, therefore you would take out one lane, which is 2 stalls.
17 feet, yeah. So
8.5 feet times 2 is 17.
No,
Plus
I don't mean
three
3
feet.
widths, I mean 2 lengths. So you would take out two widths, all right, you take out 2 widths.
Yeah.
Which is 17 feet.
Plus the 3 gets you to 20.
Why are we doing that? Why are we doing 20 feet?
or not,
Okay,
so I'll try to explain this better. So this right here is 17 feet.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we get rid of that, we get that 17 feet, right? However, I don't know if it's necessarily good enough to create a radius here, where you come in, turn around, right? And add the landscaping as Councilor White is suggesting, right? He's suggesting doing something like this right here, right? To create a buffer between the lane and the parking.
which will take up space, but no.
Which takes up space. All I'm saying, if you give us this width here, right, move this from 9 to 5, I can shuffle everything this way.
Yeah.
And it gives me the ability.
That's what he's suggesting, Council. I think
Right,
it's a good
which
idea.
gives you how much space on the east side?
On the east side?
Gives us some
Well, where you
more
need
flexibility.
to, the space to.
Yeah, give us, if you eliminated that 9 to 5, gives us 4, 17 gives us 21 feet.
So 21 feet.
Yeah, gives us
So we
21
are
feet.
talking about,
Yeah, okay.
Why are-
21 feet to
that's what
create
I-
a proper lane and add the landscape.
all right, because I asked, why are we doing 20 feet? And then we said we're not.
Sorry.
Because we're doing 21.
I
All right,
apologize,
fair.
yeah.
There's a lot's happening on the fly here. We need to get this clear.
Yeah, no problem. But I think overall it's creating a better plan. And I'm
Okay, so 21 feet.
But I raise another issue, Council Schreier, while we're still at it.
Yeah.
Where's your bicycle parking?
Oh, that one is in the lobby and the entrance. Let me move to the
How
slide.
many bicycle parking stalls do you have?
20.
20 only. Do you have an enclosure
It's inside.
in the lower level?
In the lobby, yes.
Yeah.
How many can that accommodate? That's 20?
That's 20,
That's the
yeah.
20.
That's indoor.
So how long are your stalls? Of length?
Like a parking, like the bikes.
No, for the cars, I apologize.
Oh, cars, 20.
20, yes.
20 feet.
By 8.5.
What is the typical length of a car? What do we need? What do you need for a parking stall?
15, 16, 18.
Probably standard, yeah.
Know these things.
So Councillor Schreier, one thing we've recommended to this community committee before, it works quite well. And other builders, developers are doing them now, is they install a steel loop in the concrete at the front of the vehicle with parking stall. And then all of a sudden your bike parking stalls go up exponentially. You follow me?
I do, I don't love that. I'd rather have the bikes inside the building.
No, they are inside the building.
Sorry, you're talking about, I'm talking in the parking garage.
Yeah, I'm talking about on the underground
Sorry,
parking.
you're talking about outside, yeah.
No, I'm talking about, I'm talking about, yeah, underground.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I would do that too. If you're gonna put up electrical stand, you gotta, the outside is all gonna be electrified for people to plug their vehicles in, right?
Yes.
I mean, I would do that as well. Why don't you want it there?
I don't want.
Why wouldn't you want bike parking on the outside as well? Locked up?
No, we can definitely provide a rack, it's fine, I just think that for the sake,
Okay,
I just think safety wise, people. still
Yeah,
bikes,
that's true.
You know, like,
yeah. You're gonna, like, the issue you're gonna have is, so some of the residents will be able to park underground, but some are gonna have to park outside.
yes.
Some might bring them to their units as well.
How many parking stalls on the outside?
Just the 12.
At the surface? I guess after we've made these changes?
Possible works,
59 exterior.
so we 50 or 55.
55. So you have 20 on the underground, you can in theory say those are for the people on the surface. So you're short of 34.
And the 20 are on the main floor, not just in the one.
Another 20?
Or the 20 that are in the building, like the secure,
Okay,
is just.
all right, fine. So you have 20 there, so you're short of 34.
It's also lockers, people sometimes put their bikes in their lockers. Or the unit does stuff.
That's How many biking stalls, lock stalls can you provide outside and where?
You have 6.
There's 6 outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could possibly double that, have the others more there, probably make it 12. 12 outside and 20 inside. Yeah. Which I think is more than.
We have 14 inside.
Request, 40 inside.
You can also install, what's the facade look like, the elevation look like behind those, CRU units?
On the backside.
Uh-huh.
Really the back. Rendering of it.
It's all glass?
Well, it's meant to be a commercial unit, right? So kind of like a storefront on both sides.
I'm just trying to figure out where you put more bike parking. Is there any way you can put bike parking along that wall there where you have all that little shrubs? There's some more bike parking. I'm talking about on the western wall of the dog leg, yeah,
There,
yeah.
that on the walkways on.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna walk away, you could also have bike parking now.
We could, yeah, there's probably, there's, I think there's width there. We could probably carve out some of the landscaping to make it there, yeah.
I think Councilor Schreier, I would recommend that they add enough parking stalls so that every unit has enough room to park one bike, lock one bike,
Are you talking about inside,
everywhere,
including the outside?
right?
That's 100.
Yeah, what's the
There's
point?
99 units here.
Oh,
That'd be accessible.
okay, let's start again. You're putting a bike parking stall in front of every car, let's say a steel loop on the underground, they're looked at.
Okay, that's.
Now we're left with, right?
60 plus 20,
54 inside.
60 plus 20 is
74.
54.
Well, 54 inside, 20 outs, 20 other parking stalls.
74 plus the
74.
14,
Yeah, so
88.
88. So we need to add 12 more outside.
Right,
So we'll add 12 more outside.
Okay.
No problem.
12 more bicycle racks?
You bet.
All right.
That gives us 100. And that's what counts.
why is this not being done by our planning department?
We don't need to hire bikes.
I mean, they do it at other, I watch other community committees, they're absolutely strict on this stuff.
Did you guys build a bike lane on there that I'm not aware of?
I hope
Well, where are these guys gonna bike? I mean, I'm all for the bike lanes, but put one on there.
I'm not going there, I got in trouble with bikes.
All right.
But he calls people that advocate strongly for bike,
Yeah, I'm not, I just wanna go for the record that I'm the one advocating here for bike parking and, let Mike Winnipeg know.
Brandon Wilson about it.
No problem, not a problem.
Sorry.
You bet. I like bikes, build the bike lanes, we'll supply bike racks, people can park the bikes. No problem.
And the condition of the sidewalk there along Stapleton, what's it like?
That one
The
is,
public side,
that one's okay, I think. We are going to be completely redoing the narrow sidewalk though, so
it needs to be redone?
it does not, but we have excavated for our
Okay,
development, but we're gonna restore it.
can we see your facade on the south side? The elevations?
There you go.
I don't see
South.
it past it.
This one is also the south.
No, I want to see
The
the
elevation.
elevation. No, I want to see the one you had.
Oh, sure, yeah. The rendering or the elevation?
The rendering.
Oh,
The
okay.
rendering. What's the pretty picture?
Yeah, I agree.
This was the first one. Because it doesn't show the step down of the top floor.
Exactly.
That's correct, yeah, we
Yes.
haven't redone that.
Yeah,
Which is.
so that's not an accurate depiction there, Russ.
That piece is- yeah, no, yeah.
Yes, there is a step down. The rendering doesn't show it because we don't include renderings as part of our plan approval, the formal drawing package, but there is a step down to 5 stories on the west side. That's
Where's the entrance to your apartment here? In the middle?
It's, sure, it's probably better,
Two-thirds in the corner, but yeah.
it's better shown.
Elevation.
There you go.
Where is it?
There's 3 CRUs to the west.
Oh, this is the CRU. This is
Yeah, it all looks
the
the same.
entrance.
Sorry, that's the entrance. That's the stairwell. Yeah.
Well, that's the entrance? Which is the entrance? Let's get it right.
That is the entrance.
Okay.
Sorry.
So is there any way that you can? Nothing more frustrating than a lot of these new buildings, they're all very fancy and architecturally pretty. But you're trying to find an entrance into the building at night. And you're older. Is there any way to deal with that, to make it more either in terms of the brick work around or having one of those umbrella, those entrance ways you see like in New York and everywhere?
an awning.
An awning,
We're
thank you.
putting the building address right above the door.
Well, I know, but still, that's not clear.
No,
No,
Is there a name of the building?
They'll go to the door that doesn't have like pizza or cafe.
yeah, well, it's like, where's the damn entrance to this building? Is there any way you could do a different, brickwork around that or something, like a different brown shade of brown, you know what I mean, to somehow make it stand out?
I tell you what we possibly can do is we could increase the height of the transom in that storefront. And put elegant lighting inside to make it look like it's the actual entrance. Like I've done that before, where,
Do that again? You can
so
do-
basically you have your glass and you put basically a transom above that entrance.
A what?
Like transom is more glass, basically.
Oh, yeah, okay, I hear you, yes,
Right?
yeah, I
And
like
then
it,
you
okay.
Put a nice chandelier,
And then have the lighting,
correct. And then, hey, that looks like the entrance.
right,
Versus
it's well lit,
the pizza place.
Right.
Exactly.
okay. And where are you putting the numbers of the address on this building?
Not that far yet, but I mean, it could be above the door, the entrance door, yeah.
What about at the end? Are you gonna have large left numbers at the end? Like, go to the western facade, if you don't mind. Elevation. That's the western elevation?
Yes.
Yeah, cause it's an L, right?
Yeah, go back to the southern elevation. So there's a way to put it on the corner, large numbers of, at each end, so that we can see the address here,
Yeah.
okay? Because traffic's moving fairly quick down there.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's another suggestion, Councilor Shire.
Awning or new
I
entrance?
wouldn't like to do an awning, but
Better be marked.
your glass with something.
Yeah, no, the glass is a good idea, and awnings are problematic because they have to be maintained.
So
If we have snowplows going up and down the sidewalk, they'll probably hit it.
Yeah.
and knock it out.
It's not 1994.
It's not 1994?
Yeah.
I'm lost on that one. To me,
I
that's
just say,
very,
it's just those, I just think awnings, think those like old fabric awnings, I'm just thinking of that.
that's like 1894.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm in the wrong century.
We are just having you waiting for your Uber, but sure.
1854, 1864, right, 1964.
Nice if you have a door.
Those are the best, you'll be able to walk in, right?
Yeah. That's good.
Okay.
Are you gonna have, what type of businesses are you trying to attract here?
Anybody that wants to rent, pretty much at this stage, we haven't got that far yet. We're just designing spaces as open commercial for now, and we'll build to suit when,
Any way you can avoid another cannabis shop?
I'll do my best.
Okay. Or vaping shop? Yeah, all right. You got
I think the province currently has a moratorium on new licenses for
Do they?
retail shops, I believe.
They can-
Pardon me?
There's a lot of them around, so.
So have you thought about a professional center?
In those spaces, yeah.
Marketing it as such, dentist, doctor, chiropractor, okay, this
This
is
is all
a
great,
great
great
suggestion.
tenants to have, I'd love to have
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta get in touch with the realtors who specialize in. Yeah,
You have a chiropractor, right, in your.
I have a chiropractor in our office building on Stanford.
there's definitely a need for doctors in the area, so.
Amazing.
Okay. I don't have any other suggestions, Councilor Schreier, I think we
All right.
can keep this one to that.
All right, sure. Now, we're going to go through the itemization. Now we have no more. Now it's gonna take some time to itemize this before we start making.
Well, hopefully the planner wrote them all down and give them back to us right now.
Well, yes.
And we
well,
can do
I-
this quickly.
I got them all here.
We need all to be on the same page on this one and it's hard to, I'm not necessarily certain it's obvious what it is we've agreed to.
Do we have the list, Mr. Chisholm?
Oh,
Leave it. You folks
Yeah,
tracking it?
sure.
Look
Go back to
at
the site plan, I can fire it off quick, yeah,
it, end up just referring this back,
sure.
and then they'll make the
Chris
changes.
means.
I'm gonna go back to the other.
oh, so we're bringing it back to the next community committee meeting. That's what's happening.
No.
Oh, gosh, no.
Oh, when you said bring it
No, we
back.
want to bring it back to the next community committee.
Please, no.
That's the only.
No, we're gonna
make
do it
these
all here,
changes.
we're walking two down at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, if you want to go through with these changes, it has to be referred back, so we'll have to come to the next.
Why?
Committee. Because the plans that are being approved are the ones that were posted on the agenda are the final set of plans. The community committee has the option to either reject, adjourn, or refer back.
When's our next meeting?
November
15th.
15th.
When?
November 15th.
So that's not too
Oh.
far. That's less, that's not a month. That's
How
half.
you guys are able to make the changes here, though? I thought you were able to make modifications.
That's literally, when is the 15th? That's 17 days. It's not too long.
I understand. I thought,
Well, we can have a special meeting. We can have a special meeting if you want.
I don't.
I don't think that's correct, Mr. Chisholm. We've made changes before. I don't mean to question you publicly.
No, that's by all means, go for it. I can.
No, we've done it before, and we've done this many times, and we don't need to have another meeting. We delegate the authority to the planner, to the area councillor to finalize the drawings based on our discussion here and the motions we move.
Still is permits, right? So there's step 2 process.
I feel we need to show due diligence on this as we are, and we don't need to make any further mistakes for the, essentially more for the benefit of the applicant more than anybody else. And how can we do this so that we're all on the same page and we're all safe in terms of procedure? I'm not sure if we want to wait 17 days, and it would be 17 days, which is
I'm
a lot.
I'm okay with that as long as
You
we
are?
get to that meeting, yes.
All right, so 17 days, so you're not even asking for a special meeting. I would do that.
No, I appreciate that. No, I don't
Okay.
need to do.
Fine, so you're able to,
But I was under the understanding that you guys could make your modifications now, we can be done.
well, okay, but my concern is that these are notable ones. We're talking about changing quite a few things here. And if our planner at this moment has any doubts, I will share those doubts for the benefit of this process. So, last thing I want to do is come back to them, this gets lost or it has to go back, be later on. And I think the safest way to do this is to have this ironclad in 17 days.
Here then you invite us to recreate our site plan with these changes, come back to this committee on the 15th, show them. Is that correct?
Yes,
Sounds good.
and the planner, Dylan Shislin, would have a good idea of what it is that we need to get done before that meeting within the parameters of the changes we made today, so that we don't have to do this again. We don't have to, we can actually have it, we'll be within those parameters at the next meeting. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Shislin?
I think so. Yeah, so you'll have to resubmit your plans to zoning. You can turn it around pretty quickly. And then they'll have to come back, you'll have to re-stamp them to do after you're bound by. And then we'll put it on the next agenda with all the changes made.
My only question is, will there be enough time, you know, obviously, we can quickly turn around these changes, but with the zoning, you know, it'll take them time, of course, to re-review and do their review and then get it back to the planner. So I just want to make sure that there's enough time, because, you know, that can be a process, right? That it has to be reviewed, you know.
I would think that I'm committed to a special meeting for you if you need it. I would
All right.
assume, given his enthusiasm for this project, that Councillor Wyatt could perhaps attend that as well. So whatever it takes to get this through in time. I appreciate Councillor Wyatt's concern and interest and creative approach to this. Having said that, if that takes greater diligence to achieve this within the parameters of process here and the planner's concerns, that's what it takes, kind of thing. And I don't want to cause any further trouble for the applicant here. And I appreciate the down step. That was my priority on the east side for the top floor. So that is my main one. Having said that, Councillor Wyatt does have a penchant for extra aspects to the aesthetic and the practicality on the main floor, if you will, in the basement regarding the parking, the shrubbery, the sidewalk, the bicycles, the egress, the turn, the trees, boulevard, numerous things that have been discussed here by Councillor Wyatt, and so we need to all take these into consideration, as well as the extension of the dog run, the new placement of the gate, potentially the material of the fence. There's a lot here. And I don't think I even touched on it all. Did I say cameras or camera signage? Are we replacing? Are we placing in a new place the garbage and recycling things? I'm not sure if that's necessary. If we're going to be having chain link fence, have we agreed to chain link fence?
We have the list.
Well, there you go. This is significant.
I have been making notes just during the conversation. I know some things have been put in place, some things have been removed, but I can go through them step by step.
That would be good.
Just confirm.
Thank you.
Okay, so the intention would be to refer back to the applicant with the following changes to be made. Just let me know if any of these need to be removed or added. That chain link gate and fencing be used on the north and south side for the dog run.
6 feet tall
6 feet tall, okay?
with key fob operated gate.
It's not moving. Okay.
But that's already decided.
Not moving, it's
And where it is.
where it is.
But the trees on the south side.
Heavy duty chain link.
Also stated.
You see, you've got two different diagrams. One shows 4 trees and one shows 1 tree. When it's
Where it's located now, this based on the drawing today, that's all the clerk has to add,
Yes, in the same location.
same location.
Signs indicating that surveillance is in place.
Yeah.
Removal of landscaping on the south end of the dog run.
No, we're keeping that.
Okay,
we're keeping the trees.
I will get rid of that one.
As well, signage indicating private property
Signs indicating surveillance is in place
and signs
and
indicating private.
denoting private property.
And quick question about those, like, do those need to be shown on a plan approval drawing?
No,
Makes sense.
I don't think so, just as long, yeah.
The gate on the south side of the dog run.
Yeah.
Okay. The waste collection, was that being moved to the west?
No.
Okay. Just gonna save that one. eliminating the buffer, or sorry, not eliminating 4 stalls and reducing the landscaping buffer on the west side from 9 to 5 feet.
From the along the public boulevard, just to make that clear.
Okay, from 9 to 5 feet.
I just,
Yeah.
sorry, can I just ask a question? If we're going through this list right now in great detail, it's not just being added to our approval,
But we have to be able to move this here. This is why we need to know this list. That's why we're going through it.
but if you're gonna move it, can't you move it today and then we just make it? part of-
We've already had that. Councilor Schreier wants to come in.
Well, look, I mean, if we can get through this
Can we
today,
not do it
but
today?
I'm not the one trying to hurry this process if we're going to get this done today.
I know it's a matter of process, but I.
That's the will of the council.
If we can make these changes today, make it, like, I'm willing to do the changes.
I understand, but our clerk has concerns that we can
The
pretend
planner does.
that it's going to work today, and if it doesn't, where does that put us?
I can,
I bring it.
do you wanna hear the clause?
Please.
Despite clause 53(2)(b), the approving authority must not make any amendments to the site plan as submitted by the applicant. So that is then read in conjunction with the options for the approving authority, EKT, being to either approve the site plan, approve it with conditions, refer the site plan back, or reject the site plan. So the way that you would incorporate the changes that have been discussed,
Is with
it has to be referred back.
When did we change that? Is that the zoning bylaw?
It's the development procedures bylaw.
When
so
did we
government-
change that?
I don't know the year that this amendment came in, but it's been this way for a few years now.
I mean, so what you're telling us is that community committee really only is an up and down vote.
Well,
That's really what you're saying. That's what it says now.
no, because there's the option to refer it back and to.
No, I know, but if we want to get it approved in the same meeting, which we were able to do before with changes, now it's just an up and down vote.
Quick question on that, on the process. Was there one option of approve with conditions?
There is, but it's dealing with something else.
Hey,
Create a deficiency found. Okay. Being sarcastic. Carry on, Mr.
Okay,
Clerk.
sorry, I was just trying to find a more
Yeah.
process.
Carry on. What are the rest of them?
Just that last one was to eliminate 4 stalls, reduce the west landscaping buffer from 9 to 5 feet along the public boulevard. Were we doing the raised walkways?
Hold on.
Yep.
What about the loop that we talked about, the parking loop?
So that was the elimination of 4 stalls, reducing the west side buffer along the public boulevard from 9 to 5 feet. And that
allow
was to
for-
allow.
To allow for a loop system that would eliminate 4 parking stalls that exist presently at the western end, at the eastern end of the 2 middle parking roads.
Okay. Okay, have that one.
And that the sidewalk be installed instead of running north-south through the middle of the property, be installed along the western wall of the site plans, north-south building facade. A raised sidewalk. Raised sidewalk.
Okay, I
And
just,
that the sidewalk indicating going east-west at the northern end of the parking lot be a raised sidewalk as well.
sorry, that was east-west.
So the sidewalk running east-west at the northern end of the exterior parking lot be a raised sidewalk as well. And that the sidewalk running as well east-west along the northern facade of the building also be a raised sidewalk.
Okay,
The developer shall install 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would suggest Councillor Schreier, the developer, install in cooperation with the forestry department, 8 trees in the public boulevard along State Pond, on the east side of State Pond, as well as eliminate Stapleton, thank you, along as eliminate the existing approach that exists south of his first entrance into the.
Okay, I get eliminating that,
Just wanted it ready.
sure, eliminating that
See where it-
As long as
hydro
hydro.
entrance into the wall. All right, and what are you talking about, the 8 trees?
8 trees in the public boulevard along Stapleton on the boulevard there. On the
So
east
you want
boulevard.
8 trees?
I think there's enough room for 8.
As long as
Or as per directed by the forestry department.
Well, a 1, 2, 3, 4, I could see.
Yeah, maybe, whatever. I mean, I'm just suggesting. And
I
that the
see.
boulevard, that the public boulevard be fully repaired and restored after construction. So why is it?
All right, we can put that in. Here's my thing. Are we taking out those trees that are shown? If we're going to decrease the buffer from 9 to 5, the 9 to 5? Then do we have, it looks like those
We can get out of here
trees
by 5.
they're planted on the private side, on the parking lot side of the fence or the property line. Is there a fence there where the trees are?
Yeah, there is an ornamental fence.
Ornamental fence that's like 4 feet high?
3.
3. Okay, so those trees look like they're planted on the private side, on the buffer.
They are on the private property, but I'm also suggesting, Councilor Schreier, that you use this opportunity to get public trees on the public boulevard.
Okay, my concern is because we're reducing the buffer from 9 to 5.
No, we're not touching the public boulevard.
No, the buffer on the inside where the trees are planted, that buffer, we're reducing it from 9 feet to 5 feet, right? We're getting 4 feet to add to the 17 feet to make 21 feet to allow for your U-turn, for your turnaround lane,
On the landscapes.
right? So we're reducing the buffer. We've agreed to this, right? We have, I'm not, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we have, as you've agreed to it. In discussion with Councilor Wyatt. So having said that, is there room for those trees? And do the trees, even if we take out the buffer and reduce it from 9 to 5, will those trees interfere with the parking of those 2 parking spots on the most westerly side in the middle of the 2 egresses where those 2,
No, he's gonna reorganize the parking lot.
they'll be reorganizing the parking lot. But what I do know in terms of the organization that applies to those trees in that buffer is we're just reducing the buffer from 9 to 5. That's the reorganization precisely on that part, right? There's no other reorganization there, is there? No. Okay, so as a regards to the reorganization there, reducing the buffer from 9 feet to 5 feet, maintaining those trees on the private side of the ornamental fence. Will it interfere with the parking there? Because that is the reorganization, Councilor Wyatt.
No, it won't interfere.
Put trees in parking islands all the time.
All right,
It's not-
now, those trees are going to go over the ornamental 3-foot high fence. And we want more trees there as well. Can you tell me how wide the boulevard is there between the fence and the street?
Between the sidewalk and the street.
Yes, sorry, sidewalk where you can see.
Quite wide. It's a big.
Quite wide, okay, so you can put a tree there?
I'd say at least 15 feet probably.
Yeah, I don't think we have the dimensions.
We don't have a
of the
dimension, but-
Public boulevard.
Yeah. And I could look at it right now on the map and guesstimate.
Is the sidewalk you're rebuilding along there now, you complete concrete?
Yes.
Is there any trees along there?
Basically streets that are half. Very wide there.
Well, I know. There's an opportunity here to council if you want to put tree vaults and trees in there.
Tree what?
Vaults,
Tree vaults?
but that's an option. That's what I would do if it was in my word. But anyway, can you carry on, Brendan, with the rest of the list?
I'm trying to see if the trees would work here. Yeah, I guess you could, but see, the trees end up, there's a private tree, there's a public tree on the other side of Stapleton. But it encroaches, the branches obviously go into the private yard is what I see. In other words, you can have trees on one side or the other, but I'm not certain you could put trees on both sides. I'm just not certain of that.
Both sides?
Both
Yeah,
sides
you
of the
can,
fence.
Counselor. They'll grow in the boulevard, actually. They'll grow better in the boulevard because there's more, there's more opportunity for the water to get to the tree.
Fine, so be it.
I think one thing to note about the trees too, I think there's hydro poles on
Yeah.
the boulevard
Mhm.
on Stapleton.
You might have to have them as, ornamental trees in terms of,
Don't grow.
right.
Yeah, are the overhead wires being buried? Oh,
That's what I'm saying, as long as hydro allows us, we'll do it. But
Yeah.
it's overhead.
You're gonna need ornamental
And-
trees.
And an underground duct full of a bunch of hydro, so just.
Well, in lieu of that, if we can't put them there, then I would suggest, Councillor Schreier, that the developer put in a 3 or 4, I'd say 4 minimum. Working
Yeah, I'd
with-
say 4 minimum.
4 minimum cooperative with the cooperating with the Department of Public Works
Yeah,
on Narren Avenue with tree bones.
yeah, I would try for 4.
On Narren Avenue with tree bones. You're gonna wanna put the trees on Stapleton then.
Yeah, maximum 4 in Stapleton if
There's
that
no
works,
tree bulb.
if that works with hydro.
Basically saying install 4 public trees.
Pardon me?
Basically saying put 4 public trees in somewhere. Either-
Yes, but I'm just thinking one there on the north end, one in the middle, and then 2 in the south.
I think along
south
there
of the
is-
units.
I think you say.
I think along Narren is the direction now, no?
Oh, sure.
Well, I think you do one or the other, but Narren Avenue, you're gonna want them involved in it.
Narren.
That could be also, should we confer with forestry before?
I wouldn't go on there, I would speak to Stapleton.
Yeah, I know we had discussions with them during.
Put forward and see.
Looking at this.
That's a few years ago, probably double that.
So
They're
wait,
already rebuilt the sidewalk.
I don't
No,
know if there's room on there.
they have to be unsafe, but.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Right?
Carry on, Brendan.
Okay, we've changed several that I've already read, so I'm just gonna start at the top because I wanna. make
No,
sure
don't start at the
everything
top.
is-
Start where you left off.
Look, we've made changes upon changes upon changes within the last 5 minutes.
Okay, heavy duty chain link fencing to be used on the north and south side for the dog run, 6 feet tall with a key fob operated gates in the same location as shown on the current plans. Signs indicating that surveillance is in place and denoting that it is private property. The gate on the south side of the dog run. The elimination of 4 stalls.
No, the signage is to be on surrounding the property everywhere.
Yes,
Okay, all right.
that was the gate on the south side of the dog run, just
I don't know why
separate.
you have a gate on the south side of the dog, but you had a gate there already, didn't you?
Yes.
All right.
Is there, okay, I can eliminate that. The elimination of 4 stalls, reducing the west side buffer. From 9 to 5 feet to allow for a loop system that would eliminate, again, 4 parking stalls. That exist at the eastern end of the 2 middle parking roads. Correct?
Right.
Okay, sidewalk to be installed instead of north-south in the middle of the property to be installed along the western wall of the site plan. Running north-south of the building.
Yeah, are you eliminating the landscaping there? I can't remember. We're keeping the landscaping on the western
I'd
line.
like to keep it, yeah.
So it should say along the land, on the, not along the facade, because that means eliminating the landscaping. It should say along the western wall on the, west side of existing landscape.
The west side of existing landscape. Okay. And that's running north-south
Correct.
along the building, thank you. And then we have the sidewalk. The east-west sidewalk at the northern end of the exterior parking lot be a raised sidewalk.
Correct.
And that the sidewalk running east-west along the northern facade of the building also be raised.
Correct.
4 trees on the public boulevard on Stapleton.
Correct.
The public boulevard,
Have you done in cooperation with the forestry branch?
well, this is just gonna be what they're returning for the site.
Yeah, so we want the wording in there.
Okay.
Just one point on the trees in the boulevard. I'm not entirely certain if we can, I mean. We can't,
If that's why I asked him, Dylan, do you agree to doing this voluntary?
oh, I missed that, okay.
And he said,
It's fine,
Okay, thanks.
no problem.
The public boulevard to be fully repaired and restored, that's not something that would really be coming back on plans.
no, but we
Should
can
we
put that
do that
as
as
a
a-
recommendation.
There's deposits for that.
Yeah, that's true, we don't get it.
That would be a condition
Okay,
of the approval
Yeah.
In the service.
Okay.
when it returns.
That doesn't need to be there then.
Okay.
My opinion.
1 steel loop in front of each underground parking stall
Correct.
for bike parking. that was 12 steel loop bike racks outside.
Yeah.
Okay,
Along the, where are we putting those?
We're all on there.
So west side, oh, like over here.
Okay.
Just like
Oh,
right up front of
in
the-
addition to the one.
In addition.
Sorry?
It's on that, basically on that west wall where the, next to where that sidewalk's going.
On on the interior, like where the long parking lot. Okay.
so it's on the west side of the parking lot?
No, it's not on the west side of the parking lot, it's on the western side of the wall.
Western, okay.
Of the north-south building facade. And intermittently placed in amongst, well, are you guys listening? Intermittently placed in amongst the landscaping. We're trying to get you through here.
Appreciate it.
Would it be fair to say the west side of the
North-south building.
north?
leg of the
Yeah,
building.
okay. North, south.
Will that trigger a landscape variance?
Our question was just if there's any of these that trigger additional variances, is there a way to?
Well, the planner would red flag that at the next meeting. You're coming back anyway.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't want to end up.
we don't want to trigger a new variance.
No, we don't want to do that either. We want
Back
to,
to-
but we can figure out that solution then.
So that was the west side of the north-south building intermittently placed along the landscaping. We have the increased height of the transom above the.
No, hold on. No,
Okay.
we're not done the bicycle stuff. We
Okay.
also delegated to the applicant to come back at the next meeting to indicate where bicycle parking will be shown to make sure that it's one bicycle parking stall per unit. So you can come back and show us.
Showing one.
Putting in the units.
So the exterior stuff is what you want to do for us, right? Where the parking stalls are gonna be.
Okay, wait, I wanna make sure I have this clear. So we have the steel loop in front of each underground parking stall. And then the 12 steel loop bike racks outside on the north-south.
I wouldn't say 12, I would say delegate to the applicant to demonstrate how they could show us, get rid of that clause, just say where you can put the parking stalls on the outside and how.
Okay,
To accommodate,
bike parking located on the outside of the,
bicycle parking for the 99 units, one per unit.
Outside of the unit itself,
No,
including in their own.
no. Okay, we're putting the bicycle parking stalls, steel loop in front of each parkade stall underground.
Okay.
That's giving us, I forgot how many. Now, show us how you can get to the
Oh,
99
46.
on the outside.
Okay,
oh, okay,
so the bike lane you're gonna build in front of.
You show us on the next.
exterior.
That's the bike lane you're gonna build on there.
That,
Anyway,
don't even go there.
Okay, so that one's there. Then we have the increased height of the transom for the entrance to the residential units.
We want to highlight, in order to highlight the main entrance to the building. It's located on Narren Avenue, the developer will bring back, or the applicant will bring back. A design feature that will demonstrate, and highlight that entrance. As well as the applicant will bring back, and indicate street addressing on the building.
Okay.
We'll delegate that to you.
Location of street. Okay. That
That is
concludes
visible.
what I have on my list. Was there anything I am missing here?
No, I don't think so.
All right, and just, it was mentioned something about trees and the hydro pole. And we do realize that the hydro pole has to be moved anyway, because it's right in the middle of the egress. So that might facilitate the issue of the trees or make no difference, I suppose. I mean, I guess the telephone pole has to be moved. I don't know where it's being moved to.
Why are you putting the word to it?
Whether it's being moved further north or further south along Stapleton. Is there any knowledge of this? No.
The hydro pole, to our knowledge, does not.
It's in the egress. It's right in the middle.
if it's, yeah,
Sorry. Whole valve, sorry.
The concern is the underground. It's a
Right, okay.
very
yeah,
large hydro duct.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you don't wanna hit that one.
No.
All right. I'm going to consider that we've had quite a bit of discussion, changes, specifics, as understood by this meeting. And on that basis, I can go ahead and move a motion.
All right, who's gonna be the chair?
Regard, Councillor White, will you take the chair?
Yeah, yes, I'll take the chair. Go ahead.
Councillor White, you might want to move the motion as a matter of.
I'll move the motion.
All right, there you go.
There we go.
So move to refer back to the applicant to return with the changes as.
Please, thank you. All in favor?
Of what? What is the motion?
I'm not the chair, you're the chair.
I'm the chair, so what is, you're moving the motion.
I'm moving the motion, yeah.
What is the motion?
Is to refer back to the applicant with the changes just discussed. It was-
Okay,
Okay.
all right, that is the motion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, all right.
That's number one. I've heard from David Padman, there was a communication.
Unfortunately, we do have more delegations as well.
Oh,
We do have another
Okay.
delegations, so we will go back to the original format.
So they were also
which is
11:30 on
exactly
here.
Delegations, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
oh, I see.
Yes.
So we're back to delegations. Delegation number 2.
So we did hear from all those on the plan approval. So at
Okay.
this time, we can go to number 3, which is Andrea Rudiger.
Right.
To be heard with respect to plan approval for 1519 Regent Avenue West, Report 9. Andrea, you'll have up to 10 minutes for your presentation.
There we go. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
So who's
Who's the?
good morning?
You hear me?
Yes, you're coming through.
Wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity. I don't have a formal presentation, but the plans have been submitted as part of the application. So our,
Yeah, if you could excuse us, we're just having an audio problem. We've got a lot of, it seems like a lot of trouble and it's sort of going a little over the top. A little bit of reverb, what do you call that, over the comfort level of the speaker to convey that, the treble frequency, not enough bass. So it's coming out like a muffle. That would be my interpretation of it. Is there anything we could do with that? It's just the quality of the microphone. Yeah, yeah. So, all right, carry on. It's just, slightly distorted and muffled on the treble end. It's just sounding muffled. But I don't think there's anything we can do about that.
so I can continue?
Oh, yeah, that sounded better, by the way.
Okay. I will try to speak a little closer to the microphone. Perhaps that will help.
Yeah, that'll be preferred. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So the plans have been submitted as part of a development permit application. We're proposing a 11,500 square foot garden center at the southeast corner of a Canadian Tire site. The center would be bounded by an iron fence and include a 400-foot cache hut and a 2,500-foot frost tower.
Can I interrupt you, Matt? Can I interrupt you?
Yes.
You're with MGBA Architecture?
I'm with McElhaney Consulting. We're the planners
You're
on the
with who?
project. McElhaney Limited. We're the
Where's the
planners on
architect?
the.
Is the architect in this meeting?
No, the architect is not. I'm
Why not?
representing the client. They weren't available.
Well, we need to have the architect here to discuss this. You're the consultant, not the architect.
That's correct.
Okay.
Are there questions that I could answer?
Well, I think there's gonna have to be a lot of changes. I'm gonna stop you in your presentation because the design here is very substandard. This is on the corner of Regent and Rougeau, correct?
Correct, yeah.
This is a very high profile location. And what you're coming back with the design is Mickey Mouse, to say the least.
Okay.
And it needs to be upgraded dramatically.
This is nowhere close to what would be acceptable here.
Yeah, you've got basically what's designed here is like a garage that somebody would see on a back lane. Not on a high profile road. Your fencing is inadequate. You have steel fencing without any kind of brickwork. You know, you've got a multi-million-dollar Canadian Tire. I'm surprised Canadian Tire would actually sign off on this, but maybe not. As well, I'd like to know details about the entranceway going out onto the private roadway. You've got an entrance, I'm assuming this entranceway, which way is that facing? Is that facing internally or is that external? Is this the road here?
If this was for your garbage enclosure, this would still be substandard, but this is right on the cover of, this is right on the corner of Region and Rougeau.
Yeah.
This is horrible. This is like embarrassing. This isn't even close to what I would be raising here. Like as I said, like if this was your garbage enclosure behind the building, I'd still be looking for improvements.
Yeah, I quite agree.
Okay, is it possible to get, so then what's the process here? Or should we resubmit plans or?
Yeah.
Can we get?
Yeah, I would withdraw this and resubmit totally. You tell your architect to go back to the drawing board and give the feedback that we're not pleased at all.
Okay, and is it specifically around the fencing that you're looking for? Because
No, I mean,
this
it's everything. It's the fencing, it's the building that you have out here.
Cash pavilion, you're calling it, but yes, yeah.
I'd like to know the quality of that glass atrium. I'm concerned about the location of the glass atrium along a public sidewalk that could be subject to vandalism. It should be flipped to the other side. I'd like to know the access for pedestrians in and out of the facility, because I'm assuming that people will be able to walk into this and not drive into this site. Unless it's for a major pickup, I guess. I don't see any kind of pedestrian access into this site. I don't see any connectivity to the rest of the parking lot and pedestrian access. So there's a lot of concerns we have. I don't see any connectivity to your existing sidewalk system and to be able to access this site safely through the existing parking lot. I would flip your new painted line. I don't know what that is. What is that? New painted lines. New painted lines for what? It doesn't even say on your drawing. You see that box I'm talking about? On the parking lot? So you gotta go back to the drawing board here.
Okay. You're looking for a resubmission of the full package then?
Right now, it looks like a barn you're putting up at the corner of Region and Rougeau. This is what it looks like.
So this is for a garden center. It is in line with
Garden center, but it doesn't have to look like it's in the middle of the RM of, I don't know, Broken Head. Okay,
It is consistent with the other Canadian Tires across the country that's.
well, we don't care what they're building across the country. If they look like crap out there, it doesn't mean it has to look like that here.
If the applicants want to perhaps, work a little bit with the area councillor, and I need to make myself available, but, yeah.
Sure, if we could have some feedback, direct feedback and work together before resubmitting, that would be helpful.
Yeah, no problem.
So, I'll just mention the rules to deal with this item now. Council White, do you want to move, lay over?
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sorry, councilors, if we are looking for new plans, they should either be referred back to the applicant, or if you're looking to reject as a whole, that's an option as
No,
well.
we're gonna refer.
Okay, referred back.
I don't wanna reject it because of the.
What happens if we reject it?
Let's not ask the question.
Then the plans will be rejected. We can
They
refer
can
back.
deal with standing.
Do we want to refer back with instructions to resubmit the plans?
I think, do you need written instructions from us, or do you understand what we're saying?
I understand, but it would be helpful to have a list
All right,
of
we'll
what
give
you
you
want the
written
architect.
instructions on.
Well, look,
So with,
she did say that this is consistent with their, this type of building across the country, and on that basis, because we're asking.
Okay, so I'm gonna itemize it really quick. I'm gonna itemize this really quick. Number one, the fencing is substandard. We'd like to include brickworks in the fencing, as well as wrought iron fencing instead of cheap Well, you know what? No. Mimic, they have aluminum style wrought iron fencing, because wrought iron is very expensive, and brickworks. Prepare to do that. I like to see the color of the aluminum wrought iron style fencing, as well as color of the brickworks with regards to brick pillars intermittently placed every 8 feet in the fence system, or 10 feet. The exterior building, which is right now, the exterior enclosed building that looks like a barn, should be upgraded to be a proper commercially enclosed building with exterior brickworks, roof works, etc. Glazing.
Brickworks, roof works, and glazing.
The proposed glass atrium materials have to be indicated of what type of material is being used. Is that glass, is that plastic, or what is it? Is it fiberglass or plexiglass? And it has to be built to proper commercial standards, not again with proper brick facades and located right locations. And there has to be better connectivity for pedestrians in and out of the site, connecting to the exterior, the pedestrian system on the rest of the parking lot site. Landscaping should be included in and around the enclosed area that's not showing right now, as well as bicycle parking. I think that covers it. As well as an interior walkway system for pedestrians as well. There has to be a walkway to get in.
Understood. I will just bring up that this is a seasonal, so it's a plan that would only be used in the garden center months. So when they're actually using the space for plants, and there wouldn't be permanent long-term vending happening within that structure itself. So that's why.
I'm watching the construction of the site, and the construction of the site is being designed to be permanent, correct?
Correct, yeah.
We're building a permanent facility here, and it has to look like
The
that.
buildings would be up 12 months of the year, you're not removing the building every year.
Right,
Correct, yes.
Yeah, then you have to keep it to higher standards.
yeah. We'd also like to see if there's gonna be signage on this, because I know you guys whacked up that ugly, or Canadian Tire puts up that ugly banner signing. That's not gonna be allowed. We're not gonna allow any banner signing. There's not gonna, and tied to this, I'd like to add as well that there be no, a mobile signing allowed, no mobile signage on the site allowed. Anywhere on the Canadian Tire site. And that the signage for the garden center also be indicated and be permanent and properly installed commercial signage. And the location of said signage has to be also indicated and shown on your plan. I think that's got it. I'll move that, Councillor Schreier. That'll be coming back to the next meeting that's on the 15th.
All right, fair enough. And motion's understood.
One, yeah, I'll let you.
Referral back, I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wouldn't, I don't think it would go, it's not guaranteed to go to that meeting, it's whenever the applicant is able to resubmit the plans.
At the next one, as long as the applicant gets it back whenever they do, you know, deal with it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, therefore the motion is now understood by the clerk.
Yes.
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Any more delegations?
Yes, we do have one more delegation.
Pertaining to which item?
Moment here.
So,
This is Jennifer Vermette from Kensington Homes with respect to the non-conforming approach for 469 DeRoche Drive, report 7. Just joining us over Zoom, I'm just asking her to unmute and start the video.
And recommendation of two. What the heck is this, Brent?
Hi.
hello?
Hi, you guys can hear me okay?
Yeah, just please state your name and you got 10 minutes.
Jennifer Vermette, and I work with Kensington Homes, and we're looking for a non-conforming agreement.
That's a lot.
An agreement with the.
Yeah.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes, yeah, we're just taking a look here. Give us 1 second.
Okay, sure.
No, you can't, the design you're proposing here is not acceptable. The way I see it here, you're coming right out onto the corner is what you're
Well,
proposing, based on.
No, the home is already built and this was already approved with a permit. So the driveway and the garage and driveway location are already requested. Those are already identified with services and everything coming in. It's what's happened, I think, is that the non-conforming approach was due to the fact that there was a lane beside it that the city called us and said we had to have this done. But now I see on this, the city actually made this approach and they've said that the portion of the existing sidewalk, so it looks like the sidewalk has been poured quite large, will cut into the driveway. But the driveway location, it lines up with the garage, which is dictated by,
No,
I guess, the maps and.
But you also have a flare out here.
I think there's a 4-foot flare on both sides, which is
Yeah, I
also
know, but you're
required.
flaring out into the intersection of the public lane.
Yeah, the lane has been done quite large, as you can, or that part. We could reduce the flare if that's what the concern
Yeah,
is,
that's my concern.
right?
Who are you?
I'm Jennifer with Kensington Homes.
All right, Jennifer. Well, there should be no flare.
Okay,
on
I can
the side.
remove the flare on the one side.
Yeah, just make it straight, going like straight down to the, basically in line with the rest of the parking pad on that side. Yeah.
Okay.
Normally I would approve this, but because of the location of the public lane, it just caught me off guard, so no. That's the
Okay,
only.
yeah, and you can see that, I mean, the sidewalk, I guess, that they've poured is quite, or I don't know if it's poured yet or not. I think it is. But,
Yeah, well, they're only doing that, because once you guys get out of this development and walk away, we're gonna be the ones maintaining it, and you're gonna have a little patch of grass there that'll never grow.
Okay.
Right? They find it easier just to maintain it that way, so.
but the sidewalk, it takes like that 45 instead of taking a 90.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like instead of the sidewalk taking a 90 and being able to have the flare on the driveway, it's done it.
Have they already poured that? Have they already poured that?
I'm not sure. I thought they had. I think the inspector's been out there a couple times.
Where, do you have what do you mean you don't know? This is your.
I'm not on site, honestly. The city has come back to us to say there's an issue and that we had to put in this non-conforming approach. So I was quite surprised to see how this whole sidewalk is being done.
I'm gonna lay the matter over then until you can come back or the city can come back and tell us, has that been poured already? Cause I agree with you. The sidewalk should be taking a right angle there and not cutting through the person's driveway. Cause it's gonna cause nothing but headaches for the resident who lives there. Right?
Okay, so how do I come back to you guys?
Well, you come back, number one, go out, take pictures, verify what the city has done or not done,
Okay.
and then we'll deal with that when you come back.
Okay, I will talk to whoever, because I've been dealing with Angelica from the city, who's the one who's applied for this. So I will,
We've already poured that sidewalk. If we had, we'll ask you guys will probably be the ones removing it on behalf of us and then putting in the proper sidewalk.
okay, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
I'll move
bye.
with that instruction.
Which meeting?
15. 15 give you enough time?
Oh yeah, I can get something right away.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Just need a motion to deal with this item now.
Very good. So moved.
Right, so,
Deal with it now.
yeah.
Oh, I'm moving suspension of the rules to deal with it now.
Right, those in favor?
Aye.
Carries, so we're dealing with report item number 7.
And I'll move that to be laid over to the next meeting as per the discussion.
Right. Understood,
Aye.
clerk, all right, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we're back to, where are we now?
That does conclude delegation, so we can move on to the reports.
Okay,
Let's go, gentlemen, I have a meeting at 12:30. We gotta be out of here in 15 minutes. Okay?
Okay, you're at 9:30.
Sure was.
I know, it's my fault, but let's get going.
Okay, report one, David Patton had to attend another meeting, he did send an update, so we'll,
Leo,
yeah, my overall.
he wasn't at the last meeting.
To file to this month's report,
File.
File.
so moved.
Okay,
you get the lights.
the motion, those in favor?
Oh, sorry, just for the month, but we'll get a new report next
All
month.
right.
The report back is still coming, just,
Right.
Okay,
So
so
we're not-
we have a printed copy of the next one, of the members we want to.
yeah, where's
If you could give me a moment just to get out and get the physical copies for you, that wouldn't be a problem.
All right, let's lay over items 2 and 3 until we have the physical copies of the appointments.
that's fine.
Or can we lay that matter over to the next meeting? It's on the 15th.
Yes.
Okay, so let's lay over 2 and 3, guys, it's for the 15th, and we'll deal with, make sure we have printed copies, please.
Okay, 2, 3, and would you like 13 as well?
Yes.
Yes,
What was the question?
no, we're laying them over because we don't have the printed copies of
Nominations,
the appointment members, yeah.
Okay.
Apparently we can.
All right, but what was your question to Councillor Love?
No, we're laying over 13 as
13
well, because it's also a citizen and member appointment.
What? Oh, yes, right, thank you. 13 also does not. Right, okay.
Item number,
All right, so we're now on item number 4.
yeah,
Did you call the question?
on,
That's true, okay, so.
Yeah, call the question on
Those
that.
in favor,
aye.
motion carries, item number 4.
Yeah, item number 4, this has been coming up, and at the last council meeting, we had a meeting where, this is being driven by, I think, Qualico. And, there was a ton of changes made to motions that we had made at the standing committee, or at community committee, were made at the standing committee. Including one that said that we want to encourage names that are indigenous. I'm gonna lay this matter over because, I like to lay it over, because I'd like to sit down with Qualico and have a discussion with them about this list, because it's really substandard and not in tradition or keeping with what we're trying to do as a city, based on what I'm seeing here. I mean, some of these names are just goofy, to be honest with you. And they're not, we're trying to get indigenous names going, we're trying to get, and it's just like, you know, it's like they're off in another galaxy or something.
This is more about galaxies.
Well, I said that because it got star said, bomb. So I'm gonna move layover to the next meeting, and actually, if the clerk could send a message out, I'd be happy to welcome you guys to the meeting. Well, if you want to come.
Sorry. Regarding,
Regarding this list came from Qualico, I believe, yeah. So I want to lay this over to discuss this with Qualico. In the meantime, between the next now and the next meeting. Yeah. The next one's unhappy. And the clerk and the planner could come as well. If he wants to. Norm Shepherd.
Okay, so we're over
Is,
question,
what is on the table, what is, do we have a motion?
I'm moving that.
lay out with instructions there, yeah.
to discuss.
And
Yeah.
that's understood by the clerk?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 5 and 6, if we can deal with them together, I'll move suspension of the rules.
All right, those in favor?
I'll move that these two names be placed on the street name reserve list.
Norm Shepherd and Wendy. Frazier or Frazier? Frazier. All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, item number 6.
No,
Sorry,
that was
sorry.
item 8.
8, yes.
I'll move approval, $10,000 from the LDR Transcona for the said benches and rooms
From land dedication, okay?
from the Transcona. Show.
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, item 9.
No, item 11.
Yes. 1850.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have the plan approval here for Councilor Boyd to look at?
These are just against some patios or sun enclosures, what's the?
That's a balcony enclosure, so
Balcony
turn
enclosure.
the 3-season room on the balcony.
And this is getting a blanket approved now that these will not need to come back for this particular complex, they are
That's
all
right,
committed, if
Yeah.
anybody else wants to add these enclosures. perfect.
exactly, and just on this property.
Just on this
To be clear,
property.
Yeah, they still need the permits, of course, but it just don't have to go through the plan approval process.
Okay, good, so moved.
Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, item 12.
I'll move number 12.
Move item 12, that was fast, Counselor. I find it hard to believe, but nonetheless, here we go. Move item 12.
hopefully we'll get those. Get somebody built.
Service agreement AG 29/19-901 Day Street. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And the addendum report, did we agree already?
13's been dealt with.
Vote on this,
Yeah, 14 or 15.
that we're.
Oh, yeah.
So Council Wyatt had already moved suspension of the rules and hearing business items. We
So I
dealt with
just-
13, but we
I
have.
like to play.
The addendum item was already, 13 was already dealt with?
Yes.
Correct. All right.
Governance, I'll move, Councilor Schreier be appointed to the governance committee.
All right.
That's all right with you, Councilor Schreier?
Yes, it is. Those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I'd like to move item 15, lit pedestrian corridor on Devonshire Drive west of Donville, that also Mr. Patton be in attendance at the next meeting to explain why we don't have it installed yet.
We wouldn't have the authority to direct Mr. Patton.
No, the request,
So that.
much like the permit can be.
I think Public Works may have given this one to us to be coming regularly.
Really? You should have been.
No.
I would have to look back into the history. I do recall this coming forward. I can't remember what the exact outcome was at Public Works. So just to,
We'll request it.
that's fine.
And see, then we have a few minutes.
I just want to be clear, what is the motion on the lit pedestrian corridor on Devonshire Drive west of Donville?
There is no motion. It's a request that, Mr. Patton come speak to it at the next meeting.
Okay, so that's not necessarily a new business item then.
Yes, it is. It's a I'm moving this, it's a lit pedestrian corridor on Devonshire Drive at Donville Drive,
You want
that
to-
it appear on the next agenda. Sorry, I should word it that way, that it appear on the next agenda and that the department be requested to come speak to us similar to they come and speak to Main Street and Vernon. With monthly updates. I don't want to put back, because now that'll apply to their meter. Anyway.
That would also have to go to Public Works, as any direction to the public service would have to go.
Is that what you did?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah, that was.
All right, send it to
Public Works, okay, so that Public Works be requested to have a report back on a lit pedestrian corridor on Devonshire Drive West at Donville.
On the status of the
Status.
of the installation, which was promised in 2024.
Okay, so I have that for Public Works, thank you very much.
And then, I have a couple of other items I just want to add to the agenda quickly. All right. Move suspension of the rules to hear this item, which is, the development procedures bylaw regarding new RMF multifamily housing development. Do we not have a standard with regards to bicycle parking?
We do, they met their.
What is the standard?
It's based on the number of, I don't know the exact number, I'll pull it up in a moment here, but it's based on the number of required parking, and it's a fraction of that.
So we don't have the standard requiring similar like with parking, we have a ratio of, we don't have a bicycle parking ratio. It's very subjective, it sounds.
Yeah, it would be a ratio based off whatever the required parking is.
Because what I'm seeing is that some community committees and the planners there are enforcing full on out 1-for-1 bicycle parking, and then other community committees are not getting that kind of.
Yeah, and I mean, for the public service, as long as they're meeting the minimum requirements of the zoning bylaw, we can't really go above and beyond that. If the community committee,
So how do we amend the zoning bylaw?
you amend the zoning bylaw to.
No, how can we amend it? Can that be an initiative brought forward by the public service, knowing how strongly the public service supports bicycles and so on? Or does that have to be a political amendment?
Could I get back to you on that? Because
Yeah,
I suspect probably the best way would be for you to direct it, and then it would go through.
I would prefer it come from the administration than be political, because then it will actually happen. Try to get something through this council as an elected official. Good luck. As long as you're not on UPC. So I'm gonna move that the new RM, that be brought back to the next meeting, that new RMF developments, that the public service provide potential options for amending the zoning bylaw to require 1-for-1 parking ratios and new RMF developments underway or to be built in the future. And that it be that the public service recommend one potential avenue for amending the zoning bylaw?
Would this be a verbal report back?
Like we verbal.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, so this will have to be a motion to the Standing Policy Committee of Property and Development,
Why?
because you're directing the public service.
All right, send it on. Gotta get that sheet. And then so I'm moving that, Councillor Schreier.
All right, send this to the clerk.
Yep.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And number 17, I wanna just, in terms of this whole issue of us amending plan approvals, what was it based on, the development standards? Or
Oh, yeah, so the clerk and I were chatting about this. It's the development procedures bylaw.
development procedure?
There's, I'll pull up some further information, maybe if you don't mind getting back to you, but there are. Sorry, I just need one moment to get it in front of me again.
I'd like to know when that change was made. Because we used to be able to amend things here all the time, Councillor Schreier.
I think that one of the concerns is, or one of the primary concerns, if it's a minor amendment, doesn't really matter, but if there's a larger amendment being made or a high number such as today, then it's very possible that they're no longer going to be in compliance with the zoning bylaw. Meaning that if it was approved, then they're sort of stuck in this limbo space where they have they have something that's not in conformance, they're in compliance with the zoning bylaw, which is a really awkward spot for an applicant to be when they're sort of trying to seek their permits. And so this gives the opportunity to, when it gets referred back, it goes to a ZDO, a zoning development officer, who will vet the changes to the plan and confirm that there's no no additional variances that are being triggered, anything else.
Well, that, you just hit the nail on the head. Like, to me, it doesn't matter how many changes we make, because we've made many changes in the past. Specifically, I'm thinking like things like, okay, we were gonna change this tree to that tree in terms of the species and stuff like this. So you could have quite a few changes like that. To me, the big change that would be important is if it, what you just said, triggers a variance.
Yeah.
So that to me then becomes a major change, right? And the system's already in place to deal with that then. So we can't, so what you're saying is we can make amendments.
So just some clarification on this as to your further question as well as to when this came into effect. This was a part of the original development procedures bylaw
Way back when.
in 2020.
2020.
And when it comes to amendments, there is a provision where a site plan wouldn't need to be referred back, but that would need the public service, the community committee, and the applicant to all agree and be comfortable with the proposed amendment. Under section 54(4).
Okay, can I make a motion? That I'd like to draft it, but not move it. For the next meeting's consideration.
Okay, do you want to do that offline? And we can go?
I wanna do that.
Okay, before we,
Otherwise-
where are we right now? Harris in terms of our
I just want a motion on the table that,
excuse me, I just need to know.
yeah, suspend the rules to deal with.
Excuse me, I just need to know, we're finished with all report items.
This has to be this is a new
We're
item.
on new business.
So we're on new business. All right, fair enough. Thank you.
Okay, so it'll be that the following motion will be included on the next agenda.
We included which, to allow and the reason I'm doing this is to allow the public service to have input. And that is namely the development procedures bylaw be considered to amend to allow for practical amendments to be made without requiring or triggering variances that could be considered, that the terminology presently worded in the development procedures bylaw be amended to allow for greater flexibility of approvals. Because right now we tightened up the wording that makes it harder based on what I'm hearing.
So allow for greater flexibility for amendments during the public approval process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because and I want to cite specifically the 2020 change. Because the 2020 change obviously made it harder.
So just to understand is if the public service, the elected officials and the applicant are all supportive and comfortable with the changes, we can make those changes now.
Yeah, I think one of the problems is that,
If you're not sure if it may in fact trigger variance, you don't want to give a green light as a public service.
Yeah.
From slide change.
and like on the designs that was proposed, like, of course, in theory, no concerns, but it's impossible to know without
Right.
running through the zoning bylaw and confirming, and so that's why we.
I do recall times where, and they're not often, but where the public service objects to a change or the applicant objects to a change, but this community committee would still move it because it felt it was made. And that's an example where now you're saying we can't do that. They gotta resubmit total new drawings.
We can send them back to the drawing board and, figure it out, or we can reject it,
Yeah. I don't know.
So that'll be a recommendation.
Can we, let's do this, instead. Why don't can you give us what it was before, the wording on the development street standard?
Excuse me, sorry, do we have a motion on the floor? Is that?
No, I'm gonna rescind what I just moved.
Rescind, okay.
I'm gonna say this, could the public service bring us back to the next meeting, what the previous powers of the community committee were when it came to plan approvals? And what they are today, as per the wording as per whether it be under the development procedures bylaw or whatever governed us before, prior to 2020. I just like to know what the nuances are in the change. Yeah. Because it seems a bit of a different interpretation. So. Is that fair, Dylan?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can pull up the old one and get it to you.
Okay, I'll move that.
So that was.
To the next meeting, Councilor Trier responds.
Sure, fair enough. That's a
I'm
motion.
gonna get going, yeah.
Do we need that to be a motion?
Move, it's a motion to be considered, yeah, it's a motion now to bring it back. Does that give you enough time?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so, okay.
That one would have to go, that would have to be a recommendation to SPC as well.
Oh. Right.
What would have to be recommendations?
All right, I'm gonna request that this be done informally. Would you be prepared to take it under informal advice?
Yeah, I wonder if maybe we just. It seems like a fairly straightforward document that you're looking for, if there's maybe no motions.
No motion,
With the.
yeah, okay, very good, thank you.
Offline, okay,
Very good.
great.
Thanks, everybody.
Fair enough, so that's not even. It's not a motion, okay.
I'll move consent and adjournment.
So moved.
Okay, adjourned, thanks very
Thanks,
much. Well done.